Hey guys, welcome to The Next Move with Leejay. This is a brand new podcast. I am creating pretty much the early stages or the early weeks of 2026. And I think I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. and I had this clarity. I have this goal that I want to do this year. And this is creating a platform so that we can talk about career, business, life acceleration, especially life acceleration for immigrants like me. And I want to talk to the people that are thinking about career change, people that are aspiring entrepreneurs here in Canada, and just really talk about the challenges of being a dad, an immigrant, a son of an immigrant here in Canada. I think that this is not my passion, right? Even though a lot of people think that I should start a podcast like this and share some of the wisdom that we've gathered over the years. But if I'm gonna talk about my real passion really is flying airplanes or watching airplane videos, and that's not what I'm here about. I have experience in the last 15 years working in the business development world, in education industry, in employment industry, in the immigration industry. And I think there's a wealth of knowledge here that I really want to share to the audience. And this is not going to be a motivational podcast, certainly not a motivational podcast. This is a direction giving podcast. So if you are seeking for direction, if you are seeking for clarity, for the next move that you want to do in your life, right? This could be the podcast for you. And there's really three things I really want to talk about in this podcast. It's about clarity, especially in your career. And what are the options out there? Why smart people still choose the wrong career? And how do you really pick a particular career that will survive changes in the economy right now? I also want to talk about the culture of business and side hustles. And I think this is something that I really want to share about because I've been doing businesses and side hustles for the last 17 years. And I think what I've learned over the years is that there's really a lot of options out there. There's really a lot of side hustles. You can start pretty much with $0 and have a compelling business by the end of 30 days. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. They can do so much with just the time and the efforts and the talents that they have. They just need some sort of a clarity, some sort of direction or a blueprint. And I think I can give that to you. I can give that to you in this podcast if you continue to listen, right? And thirdly, I want to talk about mindset, discipline, and overall personal development. Because I truly feel that, and I truly believe in a lot of personal development personalities out there agree that you are the average of the people you hang out with. And if I want to be successful, I want to hang out with 10 successful people. Now, what kind of success are we talking about? Are we talking about economical success, right? Success in money and career, or success of building a family, right? Success of having a good relationship with your spouse, success of having to raise your children in the right way, or spiritual success as well. A lot of us, especially my age group, can have that spiritual dryness in our lives. And I think it's important also to talk about mindset and discipline, personal development in this kind of podcast, because that's something that's going to fuel us, right? Not only me, but hopefully a lot of people that's going to be listening to this in the future. And with the proper direction, I know, I can feel that there will be, the clarity will come, right? With the proper direction, clarity will come, and so the right decision is going to come next. It might be a difficult decision to do. It could be a mistake, right? And I really personally don't believe in mistakes. I believe in learning. And This is not a guide for survival either, right? But a podcast really that talks about the real stuff. I don't want to talk about theoretical, the things that I didn't really experience. I want to talk about something that I've actually experienced and share you what it's like, right? When we found out that we are pregnant with our fourth child, and we are also juggling 2, 3 businesses and our careers. And how do we actually did that? How do we get so much of this energy to spend on what matters most for us? And in the future, if people are approaching me for the consulting and coaching around these topics, I am very open, right? Currently, we are also running a online programs, right, for people who wants to start their online business. And I've also done a few of speaking engagements, right, and college partnerships and affiliate partnerships that I'm able to hopefully deliver what you guys require and need. And enough about me. We're here to talk about your stuff, right? Whoever, if you are an immigrant that is lost right now, if you are a dad or a parent that's wanting to have clarity in their career, or if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, right, that really wanting to start your own business, where do you start? And we'll talk about those things. And if you are those people and you're looking for the next move, this podcast is probably for you. So anyways, that's our introduction. Let's move on to episode 1. I wanted to create an introduction episode first, but you know what? We're going to start episode 1 and really talk about why most of people that I talk to feel stuck, and how do they actually choose their next move, especially with clarity. I talk about next move all the time because you can never really feel, you cannot afford stagnation, meaning doing nothing or having no movement in your career. It doesn't matter if you are a permanent resident in Canada, citizen, or a contract worker, work permit, whatever, right? There needs to be a next move. There needs to be the next goal. And I talk about situations where people might be flipping burger on January, but start their medical careers 6 months after. And that really happens to so many people that I talk to. And in this topic that we're going to talk about, why do they feel stuck, right? A lot of these things comes down to 3 simple reasons, right? Number 1 is their belief that hard work is the only way, right, to really make it. And I think hard work is good. All of us, I believe that we need to work hard and most of us in some level work really hard. That we work hard on ourselves. We work hard, especially at our jobs. We work hard to provide for our families. We work hard to keep up with the rising cost of living. And I think working hard really isn't the issue. But if it is the only way in order for you to achieve what you want, then why do people still feel broke even if they work hard? Why do people feel that they're not enough, right? Or that they don't have enough, even if they work hard? And that's because there's no clarity in what they're doing. And there's a big difference between the things that they're doing, the movement that they're doing, and the progress that they are making. And I want to expand a little bit on that because I could be cleaning floors all day. But at the end of the day, on an 8-hour shift, right? That's what really matters, is after you've completed whatever job you're doing. What are you doing after that? What is it? Watching TV? Is it on reels all the time? Is it watching the news and listening to or watching episodes? Sometimes, in order for us to see where we're going, we need to take an inventory of ourselves first. And I think that's the reason why we created this first podcast or picked this particular episode topic for this first episode of this podcast, is to find out, right? Take an inventory of ourselves, right? And identify the difference between the movements that we do and the progress that we make. The movements that we do, like I said, is just working your 8 hours and doing your shift, right? Whatever that is. Could be in the office, could be in cleaning floors. Right? I say cleaning floors because one of the first businesses that I've started here in Canada is a service-based business. And we're going to talk about that too. What's a good business to start in Canada? Or what's the difference between a service-based business and an online business and a business that you can do like a retail, right? Buy and sell. But again, it boils down to the movements that we make every single day, and the movements that we do and the progress that we make. And the progress, right? How do you measure that? You measure that by taking inventory of ourselves, right? What is the next move? What is the next skill I want to learn? What will be the next thing that I want to do, right? And compare ourselves. And this is the only time you can compare. And I always tell people that, you know what, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people. Because the only person you need to compare to is who you are yesterday. And that is progress, right? That is measuring progress, is comparing yourself who you are yesterday. And to achieve all of this, right, is simple clarity framework to identify what you really need to do next. That framework, right, is embedded, believe it or not, deep within you. And the way it works is when you take an inventory of yourself, we have a guiding tool. It's kind of like a compass, right, that our Creator, God, has given us. And that compass is called emotions, right? If you feel, or feelings, they call it feelings, emotions, right? That compass has always been the guiding, or the compass that I've used over the years, right? Is to feel something. If you're having goosebumps on an idea, it's probably a good idea to take action on that. If you feel scared, right? Being scared and being excited, right, could mean you are on to something, right? But if you feel negatively about a particular idea but can feel good about the outcome, this could be a sign that it's not the right thing to do. So meaning, if there are ideas out there that would probably make you money but morally questions you, then stop, right? Don't do it. Don't do the next move that way, right? But again, being scared doesn't mean that you need to stop, right? That means, it could mean that it's a good indication that you are on to the right direction. So that's pretty much it. That's the end of the first episode. I have so much things to say, but time constraints. If you want to learn more about all of these things, or if you're enjoying this podcast, and move on to the next episode. So I plan to do about 2 episodes per week this to 2026, and I'm open to personal coaching if you want to reach out, talk about this stuff, right? It is free right now. It's just a quick conversation, right? But obviously, if it's going to take time, then we can talk about that. We can talk about a system, a framework for those of you who are listening. But before I end this, I just really want to give you one thought, right, to really think about. If you're driving right now going to work, right, think about the end of your shift. What are you going to do next? If you are studying right now for an exam, or you are cleaning your house, or whatever you're doing right now, doesn't matter what you're doing, doesn't matter what part of the world you are, you always need to think about the next move, right? And it could be exhausting at times to think about career moves, life goals, and all of these things. And I said from the very beginning of this podcast, this is not going to be a motivational podcast, but hopefully this podcast is a podcast that can give you clarity and that can give you a direction, right? And hopefully ponder some of the wisdom, right, that God has given us to be able to do your next move. So that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for listening. This is Leejay, and we'll see you again on the next podcast episode. Bye.